Good morning and welcome to part 4 of the Hadrians Wall path, and I'm here at the top of Steel Rigg. You can see it's just over there. The weather is far worse today. It's not stopped raining all morning, which has been pretty rubbish. Let me just get off the road because there's a car coming. We were originally planning to do about 13 or 14 miles today and finish at a car park the other side of Birdoswald, but we're actually going to end today at Birdoswald itself, which is only 9.5 miles. That is purely because of the rain. I think it's due to be pretty rubbish all day. Not sure if we're going to get much of a view. It's not too bad this way at the moment, and the rain is starting to ease, so fingers crossed it gets a bit better. So this Trig Point here is the 345 metre summit of Windshield Crags, and it's pretty windy and a bit wet up here, but there are some views. If I show you this way, there's a bit of a view down to the valley here, and a moment ago where you can see a bit of a view this way, but not much. So I'm just going to continue heading west and following the wall. There's been some nice sections of wall actually just behind us, and I think there's going to be some more later on as well. So we recently just left Caulfield Country Park, which is actually a disused quarry. That was really quite cool to see. Nice lake there, a bit of wildlife about. I'm gonna sit down just for a couple of minutes. But the path seems to have changed quite a lot when you leave the country park. We're definitely a lot more flatter, just sort of nice countryside. And still evidence of Hadrian's Wall. We've got some big earthworks on the right. But if I look back, I can see the ridge that we just followed along here. Really, really an awesome bit of walking, and thankfully the weather's starting to improve. Hopefully it will continue to do so. So we've just crossed over the wall there and arrived in a place called, I think it's Eiger Roman fort, and this one hasn't been excavated at all. It's actually partially underneath the farm on my right here, but plenty of earthworks. You can see lots of earthworks here and potentially some Roman ruins here actually, but obvious edge of the fort there. Also ahead, what is this? Some archway, potentially Roman, have no idea at all. The fact that it's fenced off and still there implies that it probably is, and the fact that we're inside a Roman fort. You can definitely make out squares on the floor of buildings and things, which is pretty cool. And actually, if you look on that side, there are some Roman walls over here all along the edge of the fort. So we're down just near Walltown Crags, which you can see runs off down that way. And actually down here we've got quite an awesome ruin of a tower or a turret. That was turret 44B, I think, and in quite good condition right on this corner where the wall actually drops down. And apparently down there is King Arthur's Well. I'm not sure what that is. It's got it written in Old English sort of text on the Earth map, so it's something ancient. Hopefully we'll see it on the way down there. So you can see beyond these crags here, the trail itself actually sticks to much more low-lying ground rather than up on the moors or on the hills. So it's going to be a lot easier going when we get past this section. So the rain's really come in again, which is really annoying, but we're here at Walltown Crags, and this is turret 45A, and the wall lovely alongside. It actually stops just here because there's a massive quarry, and it looks like they probably quarried this out, not knowing that Hadrian's Wall ran along the top several hundred years ago, and on the other side we were standing, you could actually see where it would have connected. But what's really interesting about this tower is the information board says that it's not universally accepted, but potentially this tower predates the wall by some significant duration, because it's a perfect location to scout this whole area and alert other Roman forts. And although all the towers were built first, this one is the clearest evidence yet that the wall butts up against it, which means the tower had to have predated the wall at some point. But we do know that they built all the towers first and the mile castles and then connected them with the walls. But there's a slight break in the weather, I think brief. Some blue sky up here, some lovely sections of wall and a bit of wind, and we're heading that way. So this awesome ruin just up here is Thirlwall Castle, and it was built in the 14th century. And there's a little footpath that can take you up there, and there's an information board just by the entrance as well. So it's a really nice little place to stop at, right by the river as well. Perfect place to stop for some lunch. So we just popped out onto the road, and there's a footpath sign back there, and that's actually where we separate from the Pennine Way. We've actually been on the Pennine Way as well for probably the last 10 miles or so. It shares the same footpaths as you follow bits of Hadrian's Wall, and I think on the last video I did get a little clip showing where the Pennine Way actually separated and goes north from there. And it's actually really nice to see what a part of the upper stretch of the Pennine Way was like. And that is obviously a walk that I would really like to do. It's just a very long walk. It's like 280 odd miles. So we just left the small village of Gilsland behind, and we actually had to take a little diverted route away from one of the Mile Castles. There was a sign up saying the Mile Castle was one of the best preserved ones along the whole of Hadrian's Wall, and we're really gutted we didn't get to see it because of the footpath closure. But we've just joined this really awesome section of wall, some of it, you know, 6-7 foot high, which is really cool, really well preserved. And I think it's about half a mile from here, and we'll be at the car park at Birdoswald. So this bridge is taking us over the River Irthing, and just 100 metres or so further back there's the remains of a really awesome Roman bridge and a couple of information boards, and it's just so nice to see. Again, it would have crossed just there. I think there are 3 separate arches the picture showed, which is really cool, and this literally takes us up a little zigzagging path to Birdoswald. So we're just up at the ruins of Mile Castle 49, just above the river. That was a real thigh burner, really hard work getting up there. I mean, we've done 10 miles of relatively flat, well, except the start, which was quite hilly, and then to climb uphill, quite a steep gradient. That was hard. But these ruins are really quite impressive of the Mile Castle. We've got some significant walls all along here, and then an information board as well, and then yet again more wonderfully preserved remains of Hadrian's Wall itself.